when I made the distance he told me to do that day. So anyway, cut the long story a bit shorter, he eventually assembles the crew that he needs, a couple of vehicles, one of which includes a teardrop trailer, that he sleeps in overnight, and they all gather in Perth, and word of mouth, passes around and people hear about him and that he's going to do this thing. So he has a crowd of people there to see him off. Now earlier I said I'd done this. I thought my best month was about 250 k's. When he's done this 50 marathons in 50 days, he's done something like 10 times my monthly average, or my monthly best, in another morning in a month and 20 more days. So that's for comparison purposes. But now he's worked out, well, if I'm going to break this record, I've got to run 100 kilometres a day, every day, for 43 days, from the west of Australia, the east of Australia, across the Nullarbor Plain. Now, there are two aspects to successful running. One is the physical. Can your body do what it is you want to do? And if you're in good health and have no heart or lung, muscle or joint problems, obviously that makes good health, you'll be surprised at what your body can do, especially once you start training it and it adjusts to whatever demands you put on it. But even so, 100 kilometres a day, every day, for 43 days. Now, the second thing about running, and I don't know how you prepare for this part, is the psychological part. So you're out on your run and you see a hill and you think you're being asked to climb Mount Kosciuszko or something, by the look of it, and you begin to doubt yourself. You run up it and you realise it wasn't that big, but those little doubts start creeping in, and you have to convince your mind to keep going by saying things like, well, I'll just run till I get to the bridge there, and then when I get across the bridge I'll see what happens, and so on. You're out of the Nullarbor, where I don't suppose there are too many of those little white posts on the side of the road with reflectors on them to show you the side of the road. I don't think there are a lot of little parked cars, so I just wonder where that car is, and then I'll reset, or the next light post, or whatever it is, because there's none of that for hundreds and hundreds of kilometres, and there's nothing but heat, and flies, and red dust, and road trains, drivers of which at their start are pretty unforgiving, and other motorists who are more interested in getting to the next roadhouse or whatever, and not terribly interested in some bloke in a fluoro vest running across the most desolate landscape he could think of. So he's fighting these twin physical battles and mental battles and pushing on. And first day he's full of euphoria, 100k, wow, I did it. Next day another 100 in it, and so on. And then the reality starts to hit. The joints start feeling sore, the muscles feeling tired, everything aches. He didn't get enough sleep. He had some horrific injuries, which I can't describe, but swollen shins, swollen ankles, knees the size of grapefruits, muscle tears. I lost all these toenails, pus leaking out from where the toenail used to be. Horrific things. And yet he pressed on through the pain, through the what could only be described as what must have been, in some cases, absolute agony. And a couple of times he had to cut back his daily distance, so you physically just couldn't run anymore that day. And he thought, I get into the ice bath and I rest for a while, get some massage, get some rest, I'll be better tomorrow, and so on. Now, he completed the course to a huge crowd of people at Bondi Beach. Unfortunately, he didn't set the record, but in completing the course he became the fastest Australian, at least that we know of, to do that run. And in the process raised something like $1.6 million for homelessness, which went to a charity, and I can't remember the name of, certainly mentioned in the book. And of course did a round of TV interviews, wrote a book, and so on, all that helped bring attention to what it was he wanted to bring attention to. Now, I suppose there are some things we can learn from Nedd, and before we go into those in any detail, I'm not suggesting to anybody that you set out and attempt to run across Australia or run 50 marathons in 50 days or anything, but nevertheless there are things we can learn. This kid had a pretty unremarkable childhood. Grew up on a farm in Forbes with an older brother and sister, outside of Forbes. Went to the local public school, which I think must have been a 1 or 2 teacher school, where there was a big fish and a little pond. And then when he reached high school age, he went to a boarding school in Orange, where he was a little fish in a big pond. He wanted to succeed at things, particularly rowing, which seemed to be very important at that school. So he did as everyone's encouraged to do, tried out for the running teams, took all the preliminary tests, and it was the general consensus that he'd be on the team and he'd never be in the boat, not the first one anyway, because he just wasn't right physique, a bit too scrawny. And he thought, well, I don't have Oodle's natural ability and I don't have naturally the body for this thing, but if I just keep showing up, hence the name of his book, then I'll get somewhere. So he turned up and trained and trained. Everything that was asked of him, and on occasion, at least one occasion when he missed the bus that took you from the school to the water where they trained, he thought, well, I can't miss training, so he ran down there, distance of 5 k's, got a bit of a ticking off from the teachers for running outside of school grounds, so on, but nevertheless, showed his grit and determination. And so lesson number 1, I guess, is to say we're not all gifted with the body that we need or want to do whatever it is that we want to do athletic, whether it's run the marathon or just run the 5k or just run. But if you keep showing up and keep putting in the work, barring any problems with joints and major organs and so on, the body will adapt and allow you to do what you want to do. Morning. But there are no shortcuts. There are no magic formulas. He didn't take any magic supplements or whatever. Of course, when he was running across the Nullarbor, he took snacks and gels, all that sort of stuff. Excuse me. But one of the secrets to success then is hard work. Now, that on its own isn't going to make you a millionaire if that's your goal, but if you don't put in the work, you're probably not going to achieve. The second thing that he credits as a key to his success is just sheer determination, a strength of mind. So you say you're going to do something and you just keep going until you've done it. Now, when he was out on the Nullarbor and he realised that he wasn't going to be able to break the record, he could have just said, well, that's it, the record's gone, I'll just go home now. And he would have been disappointed, and the people who backed him would have understood, because he is in excruciating pain had these terrible injuries and so on. But he took the attitude that I had said I was going to do this thing, and I'm going to do this thing, and if whatever hurts, excuse me, isn't a broken bone, then I'm just going to keep going. Now, I'm not suggesting we do that, because things that a 22-year-old, excuse me, might recover from, a 40 or 50-year-old might not, or the recovery process might take a lot longer. But the issue here was strength of mind and determination. All right, I think I told you enough about Nedd Brockmann and showing up. Thank you for watching and listening this far. I would assume I read the book in physical form as a paperback, but I would assume it's available as an audio book for those who'd be interested. It's called Showing Up by Nedd, with 2 D's, Brockmann. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, catch you next time.